Manuel, good morning, sir. Good
Hello, how
morning.
are you?
Manuel, I'm incredible, incredible. How are you, sir?
Good, good, good.
Good.
We
Manuel,
we
I,
speak later on today, yeah? That's right.
absolutely. I have you on my calendar, so we'll be definitely have a conversation later on.
Okay, fantastic.
Let's see who else is joining us, Manuel, because Manuel, the thought process has been running wild today, so I have some information to deliver. Richard, good morning, sir. Good morning. How was your Thanksgiving, Richard? Was it good? Oh, Richard hasn't got his sound just yet. Excellent. Oh dear, let's see who else is here because, Manuel, I'm excited about today. Let's give just a couple of minutes to see who's going to be joining us, who's got the Thanksgiving hangover. Let's wait and see. Richard, you had a nice Thanksgiving? Excellent. Let's see who else is coming.
Getting my volume set.
Oh, good. And your mother, she had a good day?
Yes.
Fantastic. Thanksgiving, from my understanding, is about giving thanks for everyone and everything, right?
Yes, it was.
Spending time and enjoying with those you love and really taking that moment of time to appreciate everything you have in your life, right?
A lot of gratitude, yes.
Fantastic, absolutely fantastic. I was telling Manuel, my thought process has been running wild, so I've got some stuff I want to deliver today. Mr. Brennan, how are you doing, sir? Where is my good friend Phil? How you doing, buddy? Okay. Phil, did you enjoy your Thanksgiving in a foreign land? Alexander, great to see you, sir. Great to see you. Okay, we are 1 minute over. So, guys, you know me. I don't run for those who are late. I run for those who are on time because I appreciate your time and I'm thankful for your time. Guys, my mind has been running wild. Look, I'm already sweating already. This is crazy. My mind has been running wild. Late last night, early this morning, there's some things that have been coming to me and I've kind of been thinking. I don't want you to address some things today, guys. Why do we have negative thoughts? And that kind of just ran over in my head and I thought, why does this actually happen? It doesn't serve us. Why do we have it? We can't always stop them. And then I thought, okay, negative thoughts come because of the fear we have about being uncomfortable, about stepping out of our comfort zones. And so what does that equate to? They come because of our limiting beliefs. They're all entwined. And I thought, okay, so what else? What is actually causing all of this? Because it's not just our fears and our limiting beliefs. Our limiting beliefs are generated between the ages of 0 and 8, some say 0 and 9, so we can't necessarily control that unless we're aware of it. Our fears come because the one intrinsic role our mind has is to protect us, so that's natural, that's going to keep happening. So why else do we have negative thoughts? So I started to break down the day and I thought, well, in actual fact, if we're to be fair, your general habits have got to have a huge amount to do with why you have these negative thoughts. Your general habits must have a huge amount to play with that, because a habit is when your body knows how to do something better than your mind. So in actual fact then, your habits must play a huge amount to do with your negative thoughts, because in essence, you're not actually thinking about your habitual behavior. Does this make sense, guys? Does this resonate? And if you're not thinking about your habitual behavior and you're just running on autopilot, that has got a huge amount to do with why you have negative thoughts. So I took a deeper look and I started to think, so what do we need to analyze? Well, clearly we need to analyze the things that we're doing habitually that we're not actually thinking about. So what do we need to look at in detail then? Well, we need to look at our relationship firstly, because you become the people you spend the most time with. Is that right? So if you become the people you spend the most time with, surely that must mean you have to look at your relationships first and foremost. Okay, so what is it about your relationships that need analysing? Well, are they nourishing you? Are they bringing you positive energy? Are they uplifting you? And I'm not just talking about relationships to the heart. I'm talking about any relationship. Family relationship, friend relationships, work relationships, any relationship that you have involvement in where you spend a lot of time with people. Because as I said, you become like the people you spend the most time with. So are these relationships nourishing you? Are they fulfilling you? And another word for fulfilling, is, are they filling you up? Or on the flip side of that coin, are those relationships toxic? Are they taking from you? Are they consistently draining you? One way to tell this, guys, and I'm not sure whether anyone here does this. In fact, give me a thumbs up, give me a yes in the chat box if this is something that you do. Do you analyse how you feel after you've left certain people's company? Do you make a note of how you feel when certain people have left your environment? Give me a thumbs up, give me a yes in the chat box if this is something you do. Beautiful, Alexander, beautiful. Manuel, beautiful, beautiful. Phil, Rich, is this something you guys do? Do you take note of how you feel when certain people have left your company? Because that is a surefire way for you to understand whether these people are nourishing you and feeding you and giving you energy, or whether they're toxic and just taken away from you. Because let's think about this. Richard, you see? No, not generally. And this is because a lot of us, we run on autopilot. We've got certain patterns that we've done for a long time. But this is massively important. Because if people are just taking, if people are just reducing your energy, that leaves you feeling depleted. And if you're depleted because of the company you keep, that then leaves you not being able to function fully. Okay, I hear that, Phil. So you take note of how you feel when people don't act in accordance with your expectations. That could generally leave you with an issue, sir. And I'm going to address that even before I move on. The reason why I'm going to address that, and Phil, you're smiling because you know why I'm going to address that. You cannot control other people's behaviors. So your expectations on other people can, and unfortunately, based on human behavior, will often leave you feeling disappointed. Give me a thumbs up if I'm right, sir. So rather than having expectations on others, only have an expectation on yourself. If other people then behave in accordance with what you would like rather than what you expect, that's a bonus. Because as I said, you can only control your behavior. You can influence other people depending on what value you're delivering to them. Because if you deliver value to people, people listen to you, people take note. It doesn't necessarily mean that people will change their behavior, but they will take note. The only way that people are going to change their behavior around you and in accordance with you is if you are consistently delivering value with them. If they make it a habit to be around you. Because what then happens is they start becoming used to the information you're delivering. They start becoming used to your behavior. And as I said initially, you become like the people you spend the most time with. So if they spend a lot of time with you, your behaviors, your patterns, your levels, your standards will rub off on them. Does this make sense, sir? This is how you can rearrange that picture and not feel disappointed with the lack of behavior in accordance with your expectations. So that's kind of summing up Relationships, whether they're nourishing or whether they're toxic. If they're toxic, they're going to leave you feeling depleted. If they're nourishing you, you'll find that when you leave those people's company, you feel energized. You feel like, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and make this day mine. I'm going to own this day. They're the people you want to spend the time with. They are the people that it's important to have around you. The people that when you leave their company, you feel pumped. You feel motivated to want to do something. Because one thing I need you to understand, you cannot motivate another individual. But what you can is create a motivational environment. So if someone else makes you feel motivated in their company, that's a person you want to keep around you. Let's think about somewhere we spend maybe 33% of our time. Yep, culture has a huge amount to do with it, Phil. Whatever country you live in, wherever you're spending your time, there are cultural differences. And that is something you have to almost get in line with. But it doesn't mean you have to necessarily consistently take on board their values. Because if their cultural values aren't in alignment with your own personal values, then some things you have to leave to one side. And that's the only thing you can do, because you know what? We all have our own internal value system. And something one of my mentors said to me recently, whatever you do, you have to ensure that's in line with your values, because you have a moral obligation when you're doing what you do. And if when you're doing what you do, it doesn't meet your moral obligation, you're going to have a conflict. And that internal conflict will ultimately turn you over. Your moral obligation with regards to what you do has to be aligned with your value system, because otherwise you won't truly believe in it and it'll be short-lived. But as I was saying, I was going back to something a lot of us spend maybe 33% of our time doing, because let's think about this. Bless you, sir. On average, we may sleep, Yeah, I may speak for 8 hours a day, but I would say on average, we sleep for 8 hours a day. We then have some time in the evening where we spend some time with family and loved ones. But what's the thing we do? A huge amount, sometimes more than 8 hours a day, is our work. So is your job satisfying you? Or are you just doing time? That's something we have to think about. And when I say doing time, I literally mean doing time. Because we get the gift of 86,400 seconds per day. We have to spend those. We can't store them up. We can't save them for a rainy day. That gift is given. It has to be used up every single day. So therefore, the question I ask is, are we investing our time wisely? Are we investing our time in something that's going to give us a return? Because let's think about this. If we looked at our time like money, would you consistently spend your money day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year, on something that never ever gave you a return? Surely at some point you'd realize, you know what, I'm spending this money badly. I'm spending it, I'm not getting anything back for it. I now need to spend my money differently. Or you might just be in a habit of throwing it away and be quite comfortable doing that. Let's think about that. That's the same way that it works with our time. We get 86,400 seconds per day, and I hope you're checking my calculations there, Mr. Brennan, to make sure they're correct. They are, I've double checked. But my point is this, you have to spend that time, you cannot save it, so why not invest it? Invest it in something that's going to give you a return. That's why I said, is your job satisfying you, or are you literally just doing time? Because I made a conscious decision a while ago to stop doing time. Mr. Celestine, how are you doing, sir? I thought you was going to miss out today, my friend. Don't worry, you're always going to get the recording for, so you know that's always good. But as I was saying, I made a conscious decision some time ago that I'm going to invest my time in something that I love, something that's going to give me a return, something that's going to nourish me, something that's going to feed my heart and feed my soul. I made a conscious decision. My unconscious mind had been pricking me for years that being in the corporate world wasn't necessarily what I love to do. Good morning, sir. My unconscious mind had been pricking me for some time that I wasn't doing what I love to do. So I made a conscious decision. In my case, I'm not even going to say unfortunately, my accident made me change, even though it did. And the reason why I'm not going to say unfortunately is because, as I've told you before, adversity sometimes brings about the biggest change. I've heard on many an occasion, warriors are created through adversity. I like that one. That's why I use that one frequently. I consider myself a warrior in life now. But this is what I'm saying. I made a conscious decision that I'm going to invest my time wisely. If I have to spend it and I cannot save it and I cannot get it back, only a crazy man's going to consistently spend it doing something you don't love. I made a conscious decision that I'm going to spend my time doing something that nourishes me, something that feeds me, something that makes my heart sing. And the reason being, warriors are created from adversity, sir. There you go, Rich. You can have that one, okay? For me, as I said, I had to make this decision, this conscious decision to spend my time wisely, because I've been on the corporate treadmill at the time of my injury for just under 20 years. And don't get me wrong, I've got some incredible memories from that life. And I made some incredible achievements. But it stopped nourishing me. I was just doing time. And I was doing it because I felt like I was a father and a husband and I just had to support my family. But it wasn't nourishing me. We have to do what nourishes us. So I want you guys to really investigate. How are you spending your time? Because if a job is not nourishing you, this is something else that's feeding into those negative thoughts. Because I'd be a crazy man if I was to say to you, you can just start thinking positively and those negative thoughts are going to go away. No, that's not the case. And that's not the case simply because you have to analyze what your habits are. You have to analyze what your routines are. The only way you can start changing those negative thoughts is by changing your routines and by creating new habits. And sometimes that may mean a drastic shift in what you're doing. And let's think about this. If our minds are only there to protect us, do you think you're going to get a lot of resistance when you think about making a drastic shift? Oh, absolutely, my friends. You're going to get a huge amount of resistance from your mind. It's your responsibility to overcome the resistance. And how do you overcome the resistance? As Sue Jeffrey said in her wonderful book, you feel the fear and you do it anyway. Because let's break this down. In a lot of instances, the fear that's created in your mind, it isn't in proportion. It isn't in perspective. It's out of alignment. Guys, bear with me 1 second. Sorry guys, you're about to hear some barking. My dog's sleeping in the background and he has those wild dreams where he might start running in his dream and then start barking. I didn't feel that you guys needed to be privy to that. So I just had a word with him. He's okay now. But this is what I'm saying. The fear that's created in your mind, it's not in proportion to the situation. Because your mind looks at everything as life and death. And I don't mean everything is life and death, but that's sometimes the way it responds to the situation. Because our stress hormones, when we think about it, going back to caveman days, things were life and death. A caveman might be going out hunting to feed his family, and there might be a saber-toothed tiger around the corner. If that's chasing him, that's life and death. That's why his stress hormones came up. And that's why he got fight or flight. And those adrenalines that fed him, that nourished the fear, they saved his life. But we don't have those kind of fears these days. However, when you live in stress, you consistently raise those same levels of fear. So your body is consistently going from being calm to being incredibly frightened. That's what happens when you live in stress. But my point is this: when you look at changing something drastically in your life, your mind is going to challenge you. But think about this, and I've said this to you before. How many times have you completed an activity? How many times have you done something that you felt pretty nervous or pretty fearful about doing it? And after you did it, you realize, wow, that wasn't actually as bad as I thought it was going to be. In fact, it was pretty darn easy. That's because your mind uses your fear against you. It exaggerates the situation. It then starts giving you all of that negative self-talk. It says to you, Phil, you shouldn't do this because you might lose money. Phil, you shouldn't do this because you're not smart enough. Phil, you shouldn't do this because this goes against all of your previous patterns and behaviors. Phil, I don't think you should do this because this is going to make you uncomfortable. But guys, where does growth happen? Outside of your comfort zone. So challenge you. I challenge you to look at the things that are going to bring about massive growth for you. And be courageous. Be courageous. When you are feeling incredibly uncomfortable, when your mind is throwing these boulders at you, these big rocks of fear, challenge your mind. Is it in proportion? Is it even in perspective? If it's life-threatening, what's the worst that could happen? It doesn't go exactly to plan. But one of my mentors, Mr. Chris Ross, he tells me frequently, entrepreneurs, they have to fail fast and they have to fail big. When you fail fast, you realize what doesn't work. When you fail big, you still learn a huge amount along the way. And if you learn, guess what? You are still growing. As I said, what's the worst that can happen? You can lose some money. Yep, absolutely, Phil. Absolutely. There are periods of time. I can tell you what, when I was in sales and I used to have to make maybe 100, 120 dials a day on the phone, do you know which one was the hardest? The very first one. And it was the same every day. But after a while, you become a machine. You get in and you hit that phone as quickly as possible. Because once you've hit that first call, it's all easy after there. It's all downhill after there. The first one is always the hardest. And you get all this resistance in your mind. You get all of these things going on. My mentor, he told me that when he was first in sales, his first dial, he picked up the phone and he made the call. And when the person picked up at the other end, he hung up. When the person picked up at the other end, he hung up immediately because he was terrified. But he got back on the horse and he continued to ride. Guys, is this resonating with you today? Is this making a whole lot of sense? Guys, I want you to spend your time wisely. You know, I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, I believe it was George Burns that said, we have to get older, but we don't have to get old. Think about that, guys. We have to get older, but we don't have to get old. So what are we doing to look after ourselves? Are we eating well? Are we exercising? Because remember, at this point, if you do no exercise at all, even just going for a walk is an exercise. Are we doing the things that are going to allow our bodies to stay young? Are we feeding ourselves good food? Because a lot of people believe that, oh, I've got to exercise, I've got to exercise, I've got to do the right thing. You spend 75% of the time eating. And I'm talking about that in proportion to your weight. If you look at the ratio of eating versus exercise, 25% is being very generous in terms of exercise. It's probably far less than that. So it's not the amount of exercise you do that will make you healthy or unhealthy. It's what we all shove into these gullets of ours. It's what we open our mouths and feed ourselves every single day. So are you eating consciously or are you eating unconsciously? Are your eating habits good habits or are they bad habits? So guys, going full circle, I first spoke about negative thoughts. Why do we have negative thoughts? This is a clear assessment and a clear breakdown of why we have negative thoughts. We have negative thoughts because of our fears, our belief systems, our habits, and our routines. So in order to change the pattern of negative thoughts, we must first analyze our belief systems. Are they serving us? Are they nourishing us? Are they pushing us in the right direction? And if not, we have to install new, empowering belief systems. Because a belief is just a thought. A belief is just a thought that we think over and over and over and over again. So we have to start instilling new thoughts. And yes, that is easier said than done. But the way you can analyze your thoughts is by paying close attention to how you feel. Because when you're not feeling good, fantastic, Phil, exactly that. I'm going to touch on that. When you're not feeling good, you know you're having negative thoughts. And you guys know that I am a great practitioner of understanding and paying attention to your language. Excuse me, guys. Because see, this is a great example that my body doesn't like to talk about negative. Can you hear how my voice has gone? That went from being normal. Listen to it now. My body's almost rejecting the fact that I'm talking about negative things. That's how aware of it I am. Language is extremely, extremely connected to your thoughts. Be aware of your language, guys. Because if you are speaking negative language, of course that has to have a direct influence and a direct impact on your thoughts and your feelings. So we instill new beliefs. We analyze our routines. We analyze what we're doing on a daily basis. Because remember, are we enjoying, are we having nourishing time, or are we just doing time? Because the fact is, that time, it has to be spent regardless. So analyze how you're spending it. Are you just doing time? Or are you getting a return on your investment? Is your time producing an ROI, a return on your investment? Analyze the people we're spending our time with, because you become like the people you spend the most time with. Are we exercising? Are we nourishing ourselves? Because in order to change your thoughts, you must first change your life routines and your life habits. And as Tony Robbins said, the way to do that is by raising your standards. When your shoulds become a must, your life will change. Guys, I've really, really enjoyed delivering this today. I've really enjoyed delivering this today. This 30 minutes for me has nourished my soul today. Guys, give me a thumbs up if you got some value. Give me some yeses in the chat box if you got some value from this. Because, as I said, my thoughts were running wild. And when my thoughts go crazy like that, I know I'm going to kill it on here. I know I'm going to give you some value. Guys, thank you for choosing to spend your time with me. You didn't have to be here. You chose to be here. And the fact that you chose to be here, I have to be appreciative and I have to thank you. And as you all know, guys, all can and will be achieved. How many steps? One step at a time. And as much as I'd love to be on the same bad channel tomorrow, it's the weekend. But I'm committed to you. So if you're committed to yourselves, guys, I'm going to see you on this same bad channel on Monday. Have an incredible weekend, my friends. Thank you again, and I'll see you on Monday. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.